Here's your Kings for game summary. Tony Armas has been sharp in his first start in over a year. Bad news for the Braves. Chipper Jones apparently re-pulling that hamstring. Had to leave the game in the 4th inning. Andrew Jones has accounted for the Braves' only run with his 12th homer of the year.
And Jarrett Wright, though he trails it, has set down 8 in a row since the walk to Johnson. Another gorgeous night here in Atlanta. Skies have cleared up.
Don't forget the 2 of the 3 runs scored by Montreal unearned runs.
Unearned runs.
Errors by Atlanta, or 1 error by Atlanta, proved costly.
Johnson's been up twice. He's been on twice. Doubled into the left field corner and drew a walk. He's got an interesting little timing mechanism when he hits, doesn't he? He starts open, but his stride is a 2-step process. Watch his feet really closely here. See, he's wide open. But as Jarrett Wright gets set, squares up, 1 stride, 2 strides. Every hitter who has any success at all has some sort of little timing mechanism. We were talking about Chipper Jones with a pulled hamstring. He starts out, brings his foot back, and taps it a little bit. This is a side look at that. Tap, go. 2-1.
Doesn't dive into the plate quite as much as he used to. As you watch this hitting style, back in 1999 playing in the Eastern League at Norwich, hit by a pitch 37 times that year.
Off the fist, shallow right, tough play. Who's going to get it? Good play, Nick Green. 9 in a row set down by Jarrett Wright thanks to this fine defensive play.
Outstanding play by Green. Over the shoulder, looked like a wide receiver going into the end zone to catch the touchdown pass. J.D. Drew was playing a little too deep, couldn't quite get there.
And Jarrett Wright likes it. Out number 1.
You know what else I like about Nick Green? Have you noticed how when he does something good he smiles? Is there anything wrong with that?
No.
To have a good time playing this game?
No.
You hit a home run, you smile. Have a big smile on your face when you cross the plate. Make a play like that, you get up, you smile. Have fun.
We figured it out.
It's a business, but it's also a game.
In his other life, he was Ty Harden, and we used to watch him in Bronco. Remember that series? It was Bronco, Sugarfoot, and Cheyenne. They all came on Monday night when I was a kid. Probably before your time, Pete. But
I'm afraid I was a kid then, too.
Ty Harden, the first time I saw him when he had the cap pulled down and I looked under there, I said, what's Ty Harden doing in a Braves uniform? 3-0. See, I mean, just look at from here up, from right there up. If that's not Ty Harden. And Ty Harden was a gee whiz all shucks type Western hero. That's outside, and it's a walk to Rivera, and we will face Brian Snyder. 3rd walk in the ball game. News out of the Braves clubhouse. It is called tightness in the right hamstring, and Chipper Jones is listed as day-to-day. But when you've had a previous energy,
that's better than strain or sprain or pull. And maybe at the first sign of a little pain, Chipper took all the weight off it there and prevented anything more serious from developing.
And Jeff Porter, dodging the helmet, is listed as day-to-day. But that's only natural to see a frustrating reaction like that.
Well, I'm afraid with that injury, it may be popping back and forth all year long. It's very, very difficult to completely recover from that while the season is going on if you want to continue to play.
Snyder is 1 for 2 with an RBI, and Jarrett Wright falls behind him 1-0.
Sonny Kim is up now in the Expos bullpen. We'll see if he comes in to pitch in the bottom half of the inning.
2nd inning was the big inning for the Expos. They sent 8 men to the plate. They got 3 hits, but they took advantage of a Braves error. Double play, maybe. Yes, it is. Nice to have a big guy at first. So Snyder is out before he leaves the batter's box, and so is Rivera. Middle of the 6th. Still 3-1.
Winning has always been an Atlanta Braves tradition. But after a record 12 straight National League Division titles, some say the Braves' future is in question. Well, meet the future. best baseball all season long.
You've never seen anything like this before. Not that. This. The new Icy Hot Sleeve.
Introducing the new Icy Hot Medicated Sleeve, a breakthrough in pain relief. The Icy Hot Sleeve surrounds painful joints with concentrated pain relief that goes on icy to dull the pain, then gets hot to relax it away for hours. The new Icy Hot Sleeve, joint-hugging stay-put pain relief for elbows, wrists, ankles, and knees.
The new Icy Hot Sleeve. Hard-working pain relief.
A lot of Johnnies come lately are getting rich peddling a food regimen you've long enjoyed, with foods rich in essential fats and proteins. These experts also recommend a reduction in carbohydrates. Okay, throw in a Miller High Life Light. Look at you, right on the frontiers of gastronomic science. And that's the light way to live, the high life.
Get some runs now. Get him, slugger.
Hey, I know that guy. That's Miles. He can't bat for you. He works for Office Depot.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. He absolutely works for us. Office Depot set up our entire office. Computers, desks, chairs, right down to the chair mats. Technically, yeah, he works for Office Depot. But they're a huge part of our company. Do a lot more than Hanson.
And he's got a bat for us, too.
No way, why?
Where do you think we got our computers?
Office Depot. Everything your business needs to win at everyday low prices.
Major League Baseball on TBS, brought to you by Miller High Life. To live simply, proudly, boldly, manly. This is the High Life. And Office Depot. What you need to know.
Here's a look at the score heading to the bottom of the 6th inning. Top of the batting order for the Braves, Rafael Furcal. Furcal is 0 for 2. Jarrett Wright now, when he completed the top of the 6th inning, that's 7 out of the 10 starts for the Braves this year that he's given them 6 or more. A pop to third and a strikeout and a ball to start. Rafael Furcal.
Well, he's obviously on a pitch count higher than 75, or else he wouldn't have come out here to start the inning. 72 pitches right now.
Furcal 1 for 6 in the series, sends one high in the air to right field. But that's an easy play out there for Rivera, out number 1.
You normally plan on somewhere between 12 and 15 pitches in an inning.
That has become the most used tool in, I think, a pitching coach's repertoire. You can't see it right there, but Randy St. Clair's got the little clicker. Those are really good for walking around counting groceries on a shelf. Here's Green. He's without a hit tonight. He has a walk and a strikeout. Struck out looking. You know, you got. I know you folks at home have seen the outtakes from movies. They'll give you a show sometime that's the outtakes from the TV shows. And what we got to do some night is play the between the innings music. We got the best music in the league. There is so much good stuff here. We were serenaded by the theme from Bronco.
I don't know where that comes from. Well, I do know where it comes from, but I don't know how they have all that stuff.
Well, Jim's a magician down there with the music.
It's been Western night here between innings. We've had the theme from Gunsmoke. We've had the theme from what else?
I'm waiting
Wyatt
for
Earp. We had Wyatt Earp. The Wyatt Earp theme.
I'm waiting for Have Gun Will Travel. Green is out of there. Chase one out of the strike zone.
I'm afraid you're going to hear it the next
7 strikeout. That's why I was chumming for it. That's 4 DeRosa down since a single by DeRosa, and they'll bring up J.D. Drew for his second time. And remember, Dwayne Wise is the guy batting in the cleanup spot now that Chipper Jones is out of there, so he's in the on-deck circle behind Drew. Drew with a strikeout and a comebacker. Breaking ball in for the strike. A little bit of a different approach to pitching this inning for Armas. He had a set down with his catcher in between. Randy St. Clair, the pitching coach, just stood there and nodded. And what Brian Snyder was telling him was he was literally showing him with his hand how the pitches early were breaking down and away. You got your elbow down. Now you're just throwing spirals. You're getting the ball up. And the change in approach. He's starting off with some good breaking balls here in the bottom of the 6th. 2 outs, 1-1 to Drew. Make it 2-1. Drew, who has flirted around up around the 300 mark, but has now seen his average drop down into the 280s. Knee-high strike, 2-2.
Are the Braves ever going to be able to play 3 games in a row without somebody getting hurt? Well, it's been an everlasting story so far this year.
That's a roll foul. Good location on that breaking ball. 2-2. Bobby Cox has got to feel like Rosanna Dana, huh? Did she used to say, it's like my grandmother used to say, it's always something. Full count. Armas now, his next pitch will be his 84th of the night. Still with good velocity. Remember, it was a 3-ball, 2-strike count that Andrew Jones got a pitch to hit on. Went to the breaking ball. And Dwayne Weiss will come up representing a possible tying run. That walk only the second given up. Second walk next to 7 strikeouts. And with Armas, 84 pitches, but what we're not seeing out of him is the kind of strike-to-ball ratio you're used to seeing when Armas is out there. A little pep talk from Brian Snyder.
And of course, the big thing will be how he feels tomorrow. Now, they have an off day on Thursday before they play in Cincinnati on Friday. Then they have another off day on Monday. So if he needs an extra day of rest before making his next start, they can give it to him with those off days around the next series.
They could pitch him on Sunday, which would be the 5th day, or they could pitch him on Tuesday, which would give him actually an extra 2 days.
Yeah.
Wise up for his first time. .237 his batting average.
I don't think he'll go much beyond this hitter. If he doesn't get Wise out, I bet he'll come out of the game. But I'm guessing that 90 pitch. I've never seen a pitcher coming off the disabled list allowed to go much further than 90 pitches.
Breaking ball strike.
He's right there now at 85.
Wise has 22 hits. 13 of the 22 hits have been for extra bases. 7 doubles, 4 triples, and 2 home runs. So when he's put it in play, he's put it in play hard. One and one on a low fastball. If the Expos do continue to struggle, they're going to have some decisions to make about some of their players come near the end of July. Drew's on the move. He'll have to return on a foul ball. Activity down the left field line in the Expos bullpen.
That's Jeremy Feacock.
Feacock, part of a bullpen that has about a 3.7 earned run average. They've worked 134 innings.
Now, what an odd record, though. They have a record, a 1-loss record of 1 win, 11 losses.
With that good earned run average.
And they have 11 saves in 14 tries. That's pretty good. But 1-11 for the 1-loss record out there.
Only one left-hander in their bullpen. One and two to Wise. Hit softly into left field. Good at bat for Dwayne Wise. So the Braves trying to make some noise here with 2 outs. J.D. Drew is at second. Dwayne Wise is at first. And the best hitter in baseball with runners in scoring position is making his way to the plate. 19 for 37 with runners in scoring position. That's Randy St. Clair. Usually, like most other places in baseball, when St. Clair comes out, it's for a pep rally. It's a pep talk. How you feeling? How much you got left in the tank? When F. Robbie makes his way out, he asks for the ball. He doesn't make many pep talks.
Well, they're in a little bit of a different situation than some clubs. They're so far behind right now. They want to win some games as quickly as they can to keep themselves from being buried by the middle of June. He is. I think they are going to make the change here.
Well, probably what Frank Robinson.
I think it's the pitch count, and I think that they probably also asked Armas how he felt.
Yeah, I'll bet you that's exactly what he did when he came out there. He was under instructions from Frank Robinson. Go ask a couple questions. If you don't get an answer you like, then we'll make a pitching change. And while their reliever comes in, we're going to check in once again with Larry Smith. Larry.
Well, thanks so much, guys. We're following some action elsewhere. How about the NL Central, where everyone, it seems, is near first place, even Pittsburgh in last place. But what a game right now on PNC Park as we go to, well, Mr. New home run leader in baseball, Albert Pujols. This a two-run shot in the fourth inning, his 16th on the year, 7th in his last 11 games. Cardinals cruising over the Bucks right now, 8-1 in the 6th inning. King Griffey Jr. in Florida. Home run number 495. This off Matt Parasho in the 7th inning. Solo shot, 14th on the year. And again, 495 of his career, tied at 5 right now in the 8th. Stay with us. More Braves baseball after this on TBS.
You know, Bugsy, in our line of work, I'm glad we have that insurance.
What insurance, Doc?
Nope, that's not it. The one that pays you cash if you get hurt and can't work.
And Dad's?
It's right on the tip of my bill.
Flapjack?
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Tink, I knew the name all along.
Is it true that you guys do more brake jobs than anyone else?
Yes.
And they're guaranteed for as long as I own my car?
Yes.
Come to Midas for great value and service every day. Lifetime guaranteed brake pads or shoes are just $89.95 installed. Guaranteed for as long as you own your car.
Trust the Midas touch.
You know what they say, Prince. Big boots, big odor.
Only Odor Eaters has new Zorbitex technology to absorb sweat and destroy odor on contact. Odor Eaters Foot and Sneaker Spray.
Stops odor. Dries crystal clear.
3-1 Montreal on top of Atlanta here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Tony Armas, his first start in over a year, and boy did he have good stuff tonight. 5 2/3 innings. He struck out 7, only allowed 3 hits. I think it was with some reluctance that Frank Robinson even took him out of the game. I think you would have loved to have seen him been able to get through this inning, but he was right at the 90 pitch level, and they're not going to certainly take any chances with him, but he's pitched one of the better games that the Expos have pitched this year.
There's his line score, 88 pitches. He'll give way to Jeremy Fikac, F-I-K-A-C. This will be his 15th appearance, a high earned run average of 521. But in 19 innings, one of the things you look at is 18 strikeouts. So he is definitely has the ability to strike people out, but he's also walked 10 during that stretch. Johnny Estrada, runners at first and second, 2 outs, and the first one is high to Estrada.
This is Johnny's spot. 19 for 37 this year with runners in scoring position. Over 500.
Braves are not unfamiliar with Fikac. They saw him when he was with San Diego. And he has about a 9 earned run average in limited amount of appearances. Looper, left center, that's going to get in. He's done it again. Drew will score. Wise makes it the 3rd. It's 3-2.
And that ties Johnny Estrada with Andrew Jones for the club RBI lead. He is now 20 for 38. And he broke his bat on that one. Didn't even get good wood on it, but enough to drop it into left center field.
Something to be said for putting it in play. Now Andrew Jones with a chance to tie it or give the Braves the lead. All this coming after 2 are out. And there's nothing right now that Tony Armas can do but look on with his fingers crossed. Jones 1 for 2. The one went a low liner right over the top of the Dale Murphy mural down the left field line. Slider misses. Andrew is one of the guys who has faced Fikac before. He's 2 out of 4. One of those 2 hits was a homer. 1-1.
Bring it up, kid.
Mark DeRosa on deck. couple of times the Expos have tried to come inside on Andrew Jones, and he's burned them. This time Brian Snyder sitting way outside, and a good block, 2-1.
Well, you said it earlier in the game. It appears lately that as much difficulty as Andrew is having with pitches down and away, he is having equal success with pitches middle of the plate in.
Just not missing them. See where they go on this one. Down and away, and he laid off of a tough pitch. You were talking about giving yourself a smile when you make a good play, as Green did. I think Andrew had a little smile there for laying off a pitch he's been chasing. Hitters count 3-1. Make it 3-2.
And Fikach missed his target there.
And he's glad Andrew Jones didn't swing.
Schneider was set up outside edge of the plate. He came right down the middle. Watch where this pitch is.
A hanging slider.
That was not where Schneider wanted it. So Fikach got lucky with that one.
That's one of those, if you're the catcher, you just cover your face when you see where it's headed, because you know you're not going to get to handle it. Payoff. Roll to short. And Cabrera will go the long way, but the Braves take advantage of a walk, a pair of singles, send Tony Armas from the game, and head to the 7th, trailing by 1.
Sapicki 216 with a home run and 3 RBIs. As a pinch hitter, he's only 2 out of 16. His home run, though, did come as a pinch hitter. And I think that's the first time I've ever used the words Sapicki and Fikach in the same sentence in my life. 0-1 the count. 1 ball, 1 strike. This guy's been on the bubble for the last 2 or 3 years. He's been in camp every spring with him for the last 3 or 4 years. Back and forth between AA and Montreal 2 years ago, and between AAA and Montreal last year. Boy, Edmonton must have had a pretty good club last year. Everybody that played down there had a good year, including Sapicki, who hit .301. Drove in 64 runs.
Took a while for news of it to reach Montreal.
1-2. That's strike 3 right down the middle.
Back-up fastball.
3rd strikeout for Wright, and that'll bring up Brad Wilkerson. Well, you were mentioning Nick Green being a lookalike for Ty Harden. And by golly, there is Ty Harden, and you can judge for yourself. They do look alike.
Especially the eyes. Just look at the eyes. The eyes and a little smirk smile. Can we hold up a little? I want to hear the rest of this song.
You love all these old theme songs.
Stuff. I love this stuff.
Brad Wilkerson taking strike 1. Now everybody, and you know what's going to happen now. Somebody in the clubhouse is watching this, and they're going to say, they're telling you that you look like Bronco Lane, and everybody's going to start calling him Bronco Green.
And that's
where nicknames come from. And he's not going to have the slightest clue who
Bronco Lane is.
Or Ty
And you know
Harden.
what? Most of the guys pinning that nickname on him aren't going to have any clue who Bronco Lane is.
That's how nicknames are born. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Going inside, 1-2.
I came across a website today looking for something that had the teams and their nicknames that they gave the players. Some of them were so obvious, and some of them you thought somebody's making that up for the website.
2-2, the count on Wilkerson. Well, I know that some of those websites have nicknames that are not real. Here's the 2-2 on Wilkerson. Full count.
Tried to back up fastball on him like he threw to Sapicki.
I was looking at a website the other day. I was looking at Julio Franco's page on the website, and they had his nickname listed as Methuselah, and I've never heard anybody call him that.
Takes too long. Nicknames have to be short and crisp.
Here's the 3-2 on the way, and it's hit high and deep to right field along the line and gone. Home run number 7 for Brad Wilkerson, his first hit in this series. And And that makes it 4-2.
And what's amazing about that home run, that's only the third one allowed by Jarrett Wright. He came in with a fastball, backed it up, missed to go 3-2, tried to throw a slider to him, and this one just sat there and spun. That was a spiral. He didn't get it in on his hands like he wanted to.
So the Expos have that lead back up to 2. And here's Endy Chavez, who's 1 for 3. Right to the third baseman, DeRosa, who is in on the grass. 2 away. And Jose Vidro will be next. He's 2 for 3. Pair of singles. He drove in a run. A 2-hit game for Vidro is news lately. But he still hasn't had an extra base hit in 18 days. Which is hard to believe.
Yeah, from a guy who usually gets 75 or 80 extra base hits a year.
1 ball, no strikes. 4 runs on 6 hits for the Expos. 2 runs, 4 hits for Atlanta. We're in the 7th inning. Same 2 clubs tomorrow night. Mike Hampton against Claudio Vargas.
Didn't the Phillies come in for 4?
Yep. John Thompson will open up that series on Thursday.
You know what? I thought the Braves did a good job up in Montreal, and obviously they're doing it here, of not looking beyond the Expos. They're very easy to do.
That's one thing that Bobby Cox's teams are very good about. In the air to center field. Andrew Jones camps under it. A Brad Wilkerson homer. Well, maybe Bronco can be the hero again today.
Another championship so bad, it hurts.
Will come out.
But only one woman will win the heart of Outback Jack. Premieres June 22nd at 9, followed by Sex and the City on TBS.
Go to AtlantaBraves.com to play Braves Beat the Streak.
It is 4-2 Expos. We're going to the bottom half of the 7th inning. Jeremy Thiekoch worked a third of an inning. No runs, 1 hit allowed. Now Chad Cordero, just his 2nd year in pro baseball. He was the 1st round pick in last year's draft, 20th pick overall. Reported to Brevard County in the Florida State League, was called up to Montreal in September, and has been about the most effective guy in their bullpen this year. Look at those numbers.
That's the only concern. A lot of walks. He's got some serious stuff. And as simple, he's one of those relievers that works from the wind and not from the stretch, but the most uncomplicated mechanics you'll see. Step and go.
Nothing in 1, and Mark DeRosa is 1 for 2.
And he has to stay collected over his back leg because he's in a hurry-up delivery, so his mechanics have to be this good.
Soft liner beyond the reach of Vidro. Base hit for DeRosa to start things here in the bottom of the 7th. Mark now 2 out of 3.
Slider, belt high so he could handle it, but DeRosa didn't pull off of it. You see this head go down on it, the hands went through, the barrel of the bat covered the strike zone.
Hit number 5 for Atlanta, and that'll bring up Mike Hessman, who is fly to center and lined out to left. And is 0 for his last 10. He is due. He's hitting a little bit of bad luck in that 0 for 10 streak. He's hit a couple of balls right on a button that were hit right at people. But he is due to get something to fall. Nothing in 1, the count at Hessman. Julio Franco has moved out on deck. Julio's been bothered by a bad back. The count on Hessman. 4-2 Expos. In case you joined us late, Chipper Jones had to leave the game in the 4th inning, running out a ground ball. Caught that hamstring tug again and limped off the field. The 0-2 pitch. That's the one that Hessman just can't seem to avoid chasing.
And that's Cordero's best pitch. It's the one that gets him most of the strikeouts. It's a slider. It doesn't break very much, but did you see the angle of the break? It's not the flat breaking slider. It's one that goes down and away from right-handed hitters.
Julio Franco now pinch hitting for Jared Wright. Julio hitting .281 with 3 homers and 17 RBIs. He's 5 out of 11 with 10 RBIs. In this role.
Came off the turf in Montreal with his back bothering him, was not available in Philadelphia, and then he said the plane ride home from Philadelphia acted up again on him.
And look at him stretching there as he gets ready to step in. You can see that he's still not 100% comfortable.
I think if you have a guy with a bad back, you want to make him reach for the ball.
Runner at first, 1 out.
Let's see if they try to go out away from him.
Crowd tonight, 20,271. 20,271. Takes a strike on 1.
And that's where they went with the fastball. Cordero is not going to light up a radar gun. He's respectable speed, 90-91. It's the slider that most people describe as unhittable when he's throwing it well.
1 ball, 1 strike. And he was built for this role. His college career, he was a relief pitcher. A lot of the relief pitchers around the major leagues began as starting pitchers in high school and college and even in the minor leagues. But Cordero was groomed for the role that he's got in the major leagues right from his collegiate days. All-American as the closer at Cal State Fullerton. A 1.58 earned run average last year. Then a 2.05 ERA in Class A ball and a 1.64 ERA with Montreal. 1-2.
Cut fastball on the outside corner. The 20th player picked in the draft, and the Expos scouts and a lot of other scouts picked him as not so much having the most upside, but the player in the draft who may have been most major league ready.
Only 22 years old. Here's the 1-2 on the ground, foul off to the right. One man out. DeRosa, the runner at first. Expos leading it by 2. Strikes out Franco, and there are 2 outs in the inning.
Threw 4 pitches out away from him and then popped that fastball up around eye high. That looks better to a hitter than it really is. See, that's up there in the no danger zone. Up there. If you get it down in here, that's the danger zone. Best you can do with that pitch is pop it up in the air.
That'll bring up Rafael Furcal. He's 0 for 3 tonight. He has fouled out to third. He has struck out. He's fly to right. Now 1 for 7 in the series. He takes a strike. Armas 5 2/3 innings, charged with 2 runs. Peacock a third of an inning, no runs. Now Cordero. And it'll be interesting to see if they try to get him to go just this inning or one more after this. Rocky Biddle is their closer. He has had some games, Cordero has this year, where he has come in and pitched 2 innings.
Well, you said he was trained to do this in college. Cal State Fullerton, a terrific program. Dave Serrano is their pitching coach. Well respected, 7th season at Cal State Fullerton. They've had 16 pitchers drafted by Major League Baseball.
Wow. 2.
And that's right. I just reminded they're in the College World Series again this year.
Yeah, they hardly ever miss the field there.
That is a terrific program and a well-respected pitching coach.
Two and 2, the count on Rafael Furcal. DeRosa, who singled to lead off the inning, still at first with 2 outs.
Come on, Rafael.
Cordero strikes out the side after giving up the leadoff single to Mark DeRosa. And it's still 4-2.
All castaways, be part of the new TBS original series, Gilligan's Island. Are you a millionaire? A movie star? A Mary Ann? Log on to tbs.tv to find out how you can end up in this tropic island nest.
Not too close. What do you think? I got that insurance?
What insurance is that, Yogi?
The one you really need to have. If you don't have it, that's why you need it.
Need what?
Aflac.
Well, if you get hurt and miss work, it won't hurt to miss work. And they give you cash, which is just as good as money.
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Moving in on 2 hours sleep? That's a headache. The moment of choice, Tylenol or Advil for fast headache relief. Advil liquid gels work faster, stronger, better than Tylenol on tough headaches.
Hey guys. Hey.
Thank you, Advil. Advance to Advil relief.
Critics across America are hailing Troy. Tremendously entertaining. It's stunning. Cinematic poetry. This is what an epic should be. Troy, rated R, now playing.
When choosing a Medicare-approved drug discount card, what's right for one person isn't always what's right for the next. So how do you know which one will save you the most? Call 1-800-MEDICARE. We'll compare cards for you based on your needs. You'll be able to choose the card that's right for you. Call 1-800-MEDICARE now to help you compare.
Top of the 8th inning, time for our Holiday Inn Express in the booth question. It comes from Tyler Clark, who's 12 years old and curious about pitching. Wants to know what's the advantage of throwing a four-seam fastball and how's it thrown? Well, Tyler, if you look at a baseball, see, you check this out. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 seams. If you hold it this way, there's only 2 seams. Well, a four-seam fastball spins. If you throw hard, it's going to be lively. It's going to ride, and it's easier to control. A two-seamer, if you put pressure a little off the side, is going to cause it to sink one way or the other. And if you're looking for a curveball, pick one that you put back in your hand here and throw it like a karate chop. And when you're old enough to shave, you're old enough to throw a curveball. Good question.
New pitcher for Atlanta is Kevin Grabowski. And he is facing Tony Batista leading off the 8th inning. 4-2 Expos. The numbers on Kevin, excellent. Batista in this game 0 for 3. DeRosa throws out Batista.
And that's what you get with Kevin Grabowski when he's on. And what Kevin has had to work through this year, Pete, I think there are a lot of players who think if you're a little fatigued or a little achy that you're going to hurt yourself. What you try to learn is the difference between being hurt and being sore. You can be sore and not be injured. And I think he has made a tremendous psychological leap this year, realizing he can get people out when he doesn't feel 100%.
Cabrera, first pitch swinging. Dropped by Hespen on a low throw. Well, there's another gift base runner for Montreal.
Should have been a routine play for calls. Got it. Got plenty of time. 2 steps. But the throw down low, that's a play, though, that Michael Hespen would tell you he should have had. Didn't quite get the glove out to it. That is frustration at this situation.
Yeah, the error will be on Hespen.
Yeah, you will never see a Kevin Grabowski feel that frustration with one of his teammates. You just got to make extra pitches.
Nick Johnson, the batter, he has doubled, walked, and popped the second. And he's starting to warm up a little bit, up to 313 now. With 5 hits and 16 at bats since coming off the disabled list. He had lower back problems.
Do you see how he did that? It was the 30th of March in a spring training game. He dove for a ball, I think it was a foul ball, jarred it.
Kept him out for a month and a half. The 0-1 pitch is high and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Expos. We're in the 8th inning already.
Johnson has never faced Grabowski, and I think what you'd like to do if you can is compare him to somebody that he has faced.
That's out of play. 1-2. Braves trying to get over the 500 mark, and they have found that very, very difficult to do. They were 13-12 back on March 4th. They lost on May 4th, rather. They lost on May 5th. They go to 13-13, and they've not been able to get back above 500 since. They've had to climb to get back to 500 a couple of times. But getting that one notch over the 500 mark has proven difficult, and it is again tonight. They're trailing 4-2.
Yankees called him one of the most attentive, coachable, easygoing players they ever had around. He said he's always on time, always with short, very quick, good answers, and a delight to coach.
2-2.
Somebody asked him once about being related to Larry Boa. How did he miss out on the feistiness of Boa? He said, well, it's in my family. His mom and Larry Boa are sisters. He said, in my family, my mom is like her brother, but maybe some of us just couldn't get a whole lot of words in.
Two and two on Nick Johnson. By the way, I have a question I want to ask you. All righty. After this pitch. It's ball 3. You were giving that demonstration on the 4-seam fastball and the 2-seam fastball. What happened to the baseball that you had sitting here at the beginning of the game?
Get back to the game.
You had to go out and get another one.
Game, will you?
You had to go out and get another one. What happened to that first one?
Well, a lady's lawyer is on her way to see me. On his way to see me. I had it right out front here like this.
Runner going. Look out, Kevin. Up the middle, base hit. That's going to get Orlando Cabrera all the way around to third. And the Expos threatening again here. Nick Johnson 2 for 3 in this game. He was 2 for 4 last night.
Played hit and run, almost ran themselves right into a ho-hum easy double play with Green covering. He broke for the ball, but he couldn't get to it. So playing hit and run also allowed him to put runners at first and third in the air. And now the Braves in a jam. Here's what happened to it, Pete. See, I had it right here getting ready for that. We were going to do that question.
Yeah.
And
that's where I saw it before, and then all of a sudden it was gone.
I leaned around and reached for this book, and the next thing I know, it had gone over the edge. And I looked down, and there was nobody sitting in that seat. So.
Up the middle, base hit for Juan Rivera. Another run is in. Orlando Cabrera scores, and guess what? It's another unearned run. Because Cabrera reached on that error. That's the third unearned run of the night given up by Atlanta, and the Braves are trailing by 3. RBI number 12 for Juan Rivera.
And Kevin Grabowski is getting ground balls. They're just that's what you were talking about. Only Philadelphia and Pittsburgh have given up more. He's getting some ground balls, but he didn't get the out on the one that he needed. And got a pitch a little bit elevated to Johnson.
Now Brian Schneider, who has singled, fly to center, and lined into a double play. But the 2 errors made by the Braves tonight, giving them 42 on the year, have led to 3 more unearned runs.
And if you're looking for a double play, this might not be the guy you would pick. It's over 150 at bats and has only grounded into 1.
Doesn't hit many ground balls.
Fly ball hitter.
Takes a strike from Grabowski on 1.
Well, this is the matchup that you can't figure out. Then you got a guy who gives up almost nothing but ground balls and a guy who hits almost nothing but fly balls.
That double play in the 6th inning was not a ground ball. It was a line shot that Hessman made a great play on. And came down to the bag to double up Rivera. strike.
That run is a big one, too.
It is.
There's just something a little more comfortable about having a 3-run lead than a 2-run lead.
Well, a 2-run lead, you walk one guy,
and boom,
you're facing the tying run. 3-run lead, you walk a guy. You don't worry so much about him. 1-2 on Brian Schneider. Cordero has come out on deck, so they are going to try to get one more inning out of him.
What they'd like to see is Snyder do something, get on, because then they could use Cordero to bunt, make a productive out of it.
Still 1-2. Cincinnati and Florida are tied up now 5-5 in the bottom of the 9th in Florida. The Mets and the Phillies are tied up 1-1, bottom of the 9th in Philadelphia. After everything went right yesterday for Atlanta, with the Braves winning and Philadelphia losing and Florida losing, possible outcomes tonight could, in all 3 cases, go the other way. 2-2. Since this stretch of games against Montreal and Philadelphia began last week, the Braves are 5-3. Danger of going to 5-4 tonight.
And when it started, what were they, 3.5 or 4.5 out?
3.5 out at the beginning of the the stretch. They're 4.5 out now, so they've only lost 1 game. And remember, there's another one with Montreal, and then 4 more against the Phillies before this inside the division stretch of games ends. Then it's American League clubs for a while, starting in Detroit next Tuesday. 2-2 pitch. It's been a good at bat for Schneider.
He's fouled away a couple of quality pitches. Well, now let's see. Snyder doesn't strike out all that much. Do you try to play hit, or do you send them, get them in motion?
Doesn't walk much either.
Now, sometimes you do things like that, though. You got 5 runs. That's an outburst for this ball club, the way they've been struggling to score runs. Going.
Runners are going. Fouled off again. Talk about a guy that never walks. You look at his line and it says he's had 140 official at bats coming into this game and he's walked 10 times. But then you look at the next line over, 5 of those 10 walks are intentional. So he only walks about once every 30 plate appearances. On the move again, and Schneider lines one into right field. That's going to get Nick Johnson home. Around to third goes Rivera, and the Expos are breaking it open here in the 8th inning. They've scored 2 more to make it 6-2. And for those of you who are interested in scoring and how it works, that last run is earned. You have to go back and reconstruct the inning. Batista made an out. Cabrera reached on an error. If he had not reached on an error, that would have been 2 outs. But then the next 3 hitters all singled. So the run just scored by Nick Johnson on the single by Schneider is an earned run, because he reached on a base hit and scored on 2 base hits which followed, and there only would have been 2 outs in the inning had the error not been committed.
He is going to sacrifice.
Cordero is going to try to butt Schneider over to second.
And to take your explanation further, now if they get him out, that would have been out number 3. If the Expos score 5 more runs in the inning,
then those are all unearned. Right. You reconstruct the inning, turn the errors into outs, and how many runs would have scored after the 3rd out would have been made? Those are the earned runs. Anything else Anybody that reaches on an error and scores, or any runs that score after the third out would have been made, those are all unearned.
Only the second at bat of the year for Chad Cordero.
1-1. Foul that one off. 1-2. Expos have only won 7 games on the road this year out of 24. But they're headed toward number 8 tonight, leading at 6-2. Got the bunt down fair. Grabowski's going to come over and tag Cordero. Schneider down to second.
Here's what's happened up and down the Expos lineup. A lot of runs scored by the backside of the batting order.
And Bobby Cox going to make a change with Wilkerson coming up. Wilkerson homered his last time up. He's going to want a lefty in there to face him this time.
Some runs now. Get him, slugger.
Pitching staff is another one. We talked to you earlier tonight about how well the Braves have been pitching recently, and within that team of the pitching staff is the reliever. You know, the starters got their credit early, but this bullpen has been pitching well, and you can see some of their accomplishments. Their earned run average during that same stretch, as we talked about the starters, the last 14 ball games, collectively a 2.81. So a team within a team within a team, and all three working well for the last couple of weeks.
Almanza making his 6th appearance. 0-1 with a 6.75 ERA, and his problem has been the gopher ball. He's only given up 4 hits, but 3 of them have been homers, all to left-hand hitters. In the 5 1/3 innings he's worked, he's walked 1, he's struck out 7, so the walk to strikeout numbers are good, but those 3 home runs, all the left-hand hitters, have been the problem. He's going to try to get a lefty out here. Brad Wilkerson, runner 2nd and 3rd, 2 outs in the 8th.
And lefties are hitting .364 against him. Right-handers 0 for.
One ball, no strikes.
And remembering him in the past, his curveball was nasty to left-handers, but I think it's been the curveball that's given him trouble this year. The ones that have been hit weren't the real snappers. It was kind of a roller.
1-1. Good fastball ties up Wilkerson. 1-2.
3 good fastballs. I believe a couple of those home runs have come on 2-strike breaking balls too. Let's see what Johnny Estrada does. He's shown you that he's not catching up to your fastball.
2-2. He has good velocity on his fastball. 94, 95.
You know, he might go to the fastball and then set up a 3-2 curveball if he doesn't get him out with the fastball here.
And it is 3-2 now. Field line. Let's see if Drew will have a play coming over into, well, he's still in fair territory, just in fair territory. And that's out number 3 here in the 8th inning. But 2 more runs, 1 of them unearned, and Montreal now has a 4-run lead.
Never seen anything like this before.
Some won't be able to handle it.
I hate the Outback. Somebody should down and build a mall.
The others will compete for the man of their dreams.
He's absolutely gorgeous.
I think the girls are pretty impressed, and the claws will come out.
But only one woman will win the heart of Outback Jack. Premieres June 22nd at 9, followed by Sex and the City on TBS.
Our Odor Eaters' fantastic feat of the game came in the 6th inning with Nick Johnson leading off. Green again with a good over-the-shoulder catch, like a fade route into the corner of the end zone. That's our Odor Eaters' fantastic feat of the game. He's turned in a few of those since he's been here.
And he leads off here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Chad Cordero working his 2nd inning. Braves, who had pulled back to within 1 run at the end of the 6th inning, are now down by 4 here in the bottom of the 8th. Green tonight, a walk and a couple of strikeouts, 0 for 2. Takes a strike. Cordero working his 2nd inning, struck out 3 in the 7th after giving up a leadoff single to Mark DeRosa. Line, oh, what a play by Batista. That took a base hit away from Nick Green, and that's 1 out here in the 8th inning.
Quickest fastball of the night thrown by Cordero, and the quickest reactions of the night shown by Batista. That's one of those you can't plan. You just reacted.
1 out in the 8th. And J.D. Drew will be the batter. 0 for 2. He's walked and scored. Dwayne Wise on deck. Chipper Jones had to come out of the game after re-injuring that hamstring, running down to first base on a ground ball in the 4th. They list him as day-to-day. It's not quite as serious, they don't think, as the one that shut him down for a couple of weeks. (3-0) on Drew. Strike 3-1.
Even he throws hard, his ball is straighter, but you notice there when he took a little off of it, it runs more. So he doesn't lose a whole lot of effectiveness, dropping down in the high 80s. That pitch that Nick Green hit was 95, the quickest pitch of the night.
Here's the 3-2. And he lost an inside ball 4. Larry Smith has an update for us in our TBS studios. Larry.
Well, Pete, you talked about how things are playing well for the Marlins right now tonight, and that they are. Adam Dunn, top of the 10th for the Reds. 2nd home run of the night, a solo shot. The Reds have added another run. 7-5 the score right now. Phillies down to the Mets 2-1 in the top of the 10th in that game. Back to you guys.
So Dunn either strikes out twice and then hits a homer. That's the way it works.
That's the way it normally works for him. Yep. He also walks a lot. He has a very. Do you ever see a guy that at the end of the year he has 110 walks and 130 strikeouts? That's the kind of lines that you see on Adam Dunn at the end of the year. 0-1 on Dwayne Wise. Single his only time up after taking over for Chipper Jones in the outfield. It's a fly ball into right center here. Juan Rivera for the catch. Drew back to first, and that'll bring up Johnny Estrada, who has walked out and single. At some point down the road, Cordero will be the closer for this team. Rocky Biddle, the more experienced, and continues to be the closer for Montreal this year. Gets a lot of swinging strikes. That is always a good indicator on a pitcher. It's fouled back to count 0-2.
And when guys swing at it, there's very little square contact.
Yeah. It's either right in on the hands or it's off the end of the bat. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs.
Go ahead and let him finish the inning if you're Frank Robinson, because you're getting to the point probably where you're going to lose him for tomorrow night anyway. And with 4 runs to play with, you can let him handle this.
One and 2. Down to second goes J.D. Drew on the wild pitch. Well, wins on the road have been so few and far between for the Expos this year that when you got one within sight, just 4 outs away from it, you're go with your best people.
Manage it like maybe like it's a 1 or 2 run lead instead of 4.
They tried to get that extra inning out of Tony Armas because he was throwing the ball well. Now they're going to go 2 innings with their setup man Cordero. Here's the 1-2. That's a fair ball. Well, you got the wild pitch to get Drew into scoring position, and that's all Johnny Estrada seems to need. He's 2 for 2 again tonight in that situation. And an amazing 21 for 39 now in the year. That's his 33rd RBI of the year. And it's now 6-3.
Trying to get the slider in on him. You can get him out down and in. That happened earlier tonight, but that one didn't get all the way in there. Terrific at bat. He just goes into a phone booth and puts on a cape when he gets runners in scoring position, doesn't he?
Just unbelievable. He's also a red hot hitter in this series. He's 5 out of 7. And go back over the last few series, he has 12 hits in his last 26 at bats in all situations. 0-1 and Andrew Jones, who homered back in the 5th inning. He can do that again. Gets the Braves right back in it.
Well, Andrew now with 32 RBIs, half that total. Come with after 2 were out.
Foul back, 0-2.
With 2 strikes now, let's see if Brian Snyder does anything extra to remind Cordero that he's got a pitch to play with and to get it out there. See? Wants to make sure that he knows where he wants it.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
That might have been to set up the slider, and if he does that, he'll probably pat down. Combination signs with a runner at second. Down low, good spot.
And Andrew laid off it, 2-2. Goes out there again. And Andrew lays off again, 3-2.
It's probably going to be the batter he either has to get that'll end the inning, or somebody else is going to come on. But I wouldn't be at all surprised, since his slider is his best pitch, to see Snyder call for it.
Andrew stepping out. Strikeouts for Chad Cordero. Braves leave a runner at second, and the Expos hold on to a 3-run lead heading to the 9th.
Just a silly boy with a horse and a stick.
It's called a lance. Hello?
Heath Ledger.
I've waited my whole life for this moment.
A Knight's Tale with 3 chances to
from 1-800-433-BRAVES.
Now Monza stays in for the 9th inning. Andy Chavez leading it off. 6-3 Expos. to the pitcher. And that'll bring up Vidro, who's 2 out of 4. Due up in the bottom of the ninth for Atlanta, lower third of the order. DeRosa, Hessman, pitcher. Nothing in 1.
Vidro 10 or 11 points better as a right-handed hitter. About a point above where he is for the year. Ted Barrett down at first with the right hand in the air.
Out of there on strikes. Larry Smith with another update from our TBS studio.
Well, Pete, let's check back in. Citizens Bank in Philadelphia, top of the 10th. Todd Zeile, a base hit to give the Mets the run, lead the go-ahead run at 2-1, and then Vance Wilson. This just gets out of the park. 2-run shot, 4-1 now. Mets on top of the Phillies, bottom of the 10th. Let's go back to you.
Wow, it's all sitting there again for Atlanta. Phillies look like they're headed for a loss. Florida Marlins look like they're headed for a loss. But the Braves look like they're headed for a loss. It's 6-3 in the 9th inning. Braves began the night 4.5 back of Florida and 2.5 back of the Phillies. That won't change if all three lose, but there was an opening to pick up a game on both of them.
Well, if it does change, that would put the Mets and the Braves in a tie.
Yeah, the Mets only a game behind Atlanta before the night started. That's happened a couple of times to Atlanta now in the last 2 or 3 days. Where the teams ahead of them have lost, but then the Braves have lost as well. Happened on Sunday. And it looks like it's going to happen again tonight, barring a big 9th inning rally by Atlanta. First, Almanza's got to get one more out here. 3-1 the count now on Batista, who's 0 for 4. Should do it. Hessman and Green chasing it.
Tough play.
And Hessman and Green almost collided. It's a fair ball as Green tried to make a little belt high basket catch. Hessman almost ran into him out there. Second baseman's got to call for this ball and take over. He does, but doesn't hold on to it.
By the time he got to that, I think he was a little bit concerned about how close Hessman was to it. That's going to be another error.
Third error of the night on Atlanta. Second error of the season on Nick Green. 43rd error of the season by the Braves. And here's Cabrera. So far tonight, 3 of the 6 runs scored by the Expos are unearned. And they're leading by 3. So how big were those 3 runs? Well, it's the difference in the game right now. Cabrera tonight, he reached on the error by Hessman on the drop throw from Furcal in the 8th inning, and that opened the gates to an unearned run.
Tonight's the 51st ball game, Pete, and that's the 5th time in the first 51 ball games that the Braves have committed 3 or more errors.
You can have difficulty hitting like the Expos have had. You can have difficulty pitching like a number of teams are having this year, but there is nothing that makes a team look worse than playing bad defense.
Well, when you have difficulty hitting, you can give some credit to the other pitcher. When you have difficulty pitching, you can give some credit to the other hitters. When you have difficulty fielding the ball, there's no place else to go.
That's up the middle for call. Knocks it down. Can he get it to second in time? Yes. There was a good recovery that time by Rafael Furcal, getting the force play down at second base. Now we'll see if the Braves have a finish left in them. Bottom half of the ninth inning, DeRosa, Hespen, and the pitcher's spot due up.
You can create fresher air